The financial world is currently on high alert as persistent rumors hint at a potential revaluation of the Vietnamese Dong. There is a fierce undercurrent of excitement and caution rippling through global markets, through currency traders, investors with emerging market exposure, and analysts tracking Southeast Asia's shifting dynamics. The intensity of chatter around the VND has reached a fever pitch. Today, we bring you breaking financial analysis. Could this be the long-awaited RV moment? Is a revaluation of the Vietnamese Dong imminent, or is this narrative still firmly grounded in speculation? We deliver this to you with the urgency befitting the gravity of the situation, while keeping our feet rooted in confirmed developments. At the heart of this unfolding story is the State Bank of Vietnam, whose intentions hold the key to any real shift in the Dong's value. For weeks, whispers have circulated that the central bank may be edging closer to adjusting its currency policy as pressure builds from multiple quarters. Prominent investment strategists, local banking insiders, and even some government statements, though carefully worded, have stoked hopes that a move could come sooner rather than later. Yet, before we can accept those hopes as fact, we must examine the known facts and interpret the implications with clarity and caution. The rumors initially stemmed from a series of diplomatic and economic developments. On the diplomatic front, high-level discussions between Vietnamese officials and external partners have emphasized enhancements to Vietnam's monetary framework, greater integration into global trading systems, and moves toward increasing transparency. While none of these discussions visibly name VND revaluation, the subtext has ignited speculation. Could currency flexibility be on the table? At the same time, reports of increased foreign reserve accumulation, together with a recent uptick in Vietnam's trade surplus, have led some analysts to propose that Hanoi may feel emboldened enough to recalibrate its exchange rate. If that is indeed the central bank's calculus, we may be closer to a policy shift than it seems. But even as speculation intensifies, there is no confirmed announcement from the State Bank of Vietnam. Neither the governor nor senior officials have officially declared intentions to alter the peg or broader currency management regime. In fact, publicly accessible central bank communiques continue to affirm the long-standing guidance, maintaining macroeconomic stability, smoothing volatility in interbank markets, and safeguarding the export competitiveness that has fueled Vietnam's rapid economic ascent. That said, some recent speeches by finance ministry officials underscore their desire for a more flexible and market-responsive exchange rate. Observers note that while these remarks stop short of declaring revaluation, they consistently signal openness to greater adaptability. It is those subtle cues, the omission of categorical denials of any change, the emphasis on modernizing frameworks, the repeated reference to future readiness, that have lit the fuse of market speculation. Speculators point also to shifting patterns in currency forward markets. Traders are reportedly pricing in expectations of an appreciation of the VND, albeit modest. The forward curve hints that what was once considered unlikely is now being entertained, with shorter-dated contracts showing small but notable premiums. In parallel, internal whispers within local Vietnamese banks suggest the state bank may be running what-if scenarios behind closed doors while testing the waters with select financial institutions. Though unverified, these discussions fuel the narrative that momentum is quietly building. Meanwhile, Vietnam's macroeconomic trajectory appears increasingly robust. Exports continue to exceed forecasts, foreign direct investment inflows remain elevated, and consumer inflation appears to be moderating. If sustained, these trends could provide the political and economic rationale needed for currency policy recalibration. A stronger dong could, in theory, restrain inflationary pressures on imports, balance cooling external demand, and align with medium-term macro-prudential goals. Yet a revaluation carries risks too, and the central bank is acutely aware of them. A stronger dong might dampen export-dependent sectors by making Vietnamese goods more expensive abroad. It could erode price competitiveness in light industries that have powered the economy's rapid GDP growth. A premature or poorly communicated revaluation could unsettle capital flows, disturb the currency market, and introduce instability, precisely what a cautious central bank would avoid above all else. So what could RV moment really mean in this context? For many investors, that term conjures up not merely a technical readjustment of exchange rate policy, but a realized material revaluation event, a moment when the VND formally shifts to a stronger anchor point, creating tangible gains for holders and reshaping expectations. In past emerging market narratives, RV episodes have often followed bold, targeted devaluations or repegging events in response to capital inflow surges or fiscal demands. Here, the speculation is turning that script on its head. What if Vietnam is now choosing to appreciate its currency proactively? Should the state bank announce even incremental steps toward a managed appreciation, say, widening the trading band, modifying the reference peg, recalibrating the linked exchange rate mechanism, it would constitute a landmark break from the past decade's relatively steady, controlled policy. Such a move would send shockwaves through capital markets, trigger curves in forward pricing, and potentially reshape emerging market investment strategies in the region. Crucially, we must distinguish confirmed developments from speculation. Foremost, the central bank has not made any public pronouncement of changed policy. That remains the single most important fact. What we do have, however, is a mosaic of suggestive signs, indirect statements from officials, economic fundamentals painting a stronger picture, behavior in forward contracts tilting toward appreciation, and rising chatter among traders. Individually, none constitute certainty. Collectively, they form a scenario that is gaining plausibility, but plausibility is not impending action. For those watching from the outside, timing is everything. Some market participants expect that if an announcement is to come, it may coincide with key monetary policy gatherings or government economic planning cycles. Vietnam typically holds major financial policy reviews in the second half of the year. The alignment of third-quarter GDP updates, fiscal budget assessments, and potential state bank review sessions make late Q3 or early Q4 months plausible windows for any shift, if it's going to happen at all. Investors and corporates are watching closely. Export-hungry manufacturers are hedging cautiously, aware that even a small appreciation could cut margins. Forex desks are adjusting models, recalibrating risk metrics. Regional multi-asset funds are revisiting asset allocation, wondering if Vietnam might join Asia's next wave of modest currency revaluations, following models like Taiwan and South Korea in prior cycles. The question on everyone's lips, is this the moment that changes their balance sheets? From a strategic standpoint, Vietnam could be motivated to improve the VND's standing in preparation for possible inclusion in broader currency baskets, to signal macro stability to credit rating agencies, or to position ahead of participation in advanced trade frameworks. A stronger currency, even an announced target shift, could serve as alignment with structural goals without radical disruption. It could even be a signal to international investors that Vietnam sees itself as transitioning from cheap exporter to competitive, mature economy. Yet again, none of that is confirmed. Until the state bank puts out a statement, until formal documentation appears, or until the reference rate shifts, this remains a story in motion, urgent, tantalizing, but unverified. Rumors will continue, analysts will build models, traders will price in probabilities. But the core truth remains: no revaluation yet, no moment crystallized, only possibility in accelerating motion. The bottom line for our viewers as this story unfolds: stay sharp, monitor official bulletins, calibrate risk accordingly. If your exposure to Vietnam remains significant, consider conservative hedges and stay attuned to forward curve shifts. Watch for any central bank press conferences or government economic releases, which may hold the first signals. Should a revaluation materialize, even in phased form, it could be one of the more consequential monetary events of this cycle. Let us be clear. This script is based on a mixture of factual underpinnings, economic trends, market signals, official hints, and intense speculation. The narrative is real, the rumors are real, but the action remains to be seen. We urge vigilance, cautious optimism, and readiness. Markets are sniffing an RV moment, but until the state bank confirms, it's a rumor growing in strength, not a decision sealed in policy. Thank you for watching this urgent, professional dispatch on the escalating VND revaluation narrative. We will continue to track developments in real time and bring you verified updates the moment they arrive.